Okay, so this is part 2 of lesson 4. We left off on page 1.9. Last class, what we did is we learned how to solve rational equations when they were set up as a proportion, right? One fraction said equal to one fraction. So we're going to get a little bit harder today, and we're going to deal with rational equations that look a little bit different. Okay, and there's going to be 2 ways that we can handle these. So let's look at the next page. All right, so is it one fraction said equal to one fraction? No. It's a little ugly, right? So we have 2 options here. It is. What does 1.10 look like? Okay, so we have 2 options. First option is to make this into a proportion by finding a common denominator on the left-hand side, making it one fraction, and then cross-multiplying. The other option is to multiply through by the LCD. Okay, so we're going to do it both ways just so you guys have an idea of how to do them both ways. Alrighty, so let's start by the first method, which is to get one fraction said equal to one fraction. And I'm going to open up another page because I don't have enough space. Okay, so the first way that we're going to do this is by making that left-hand side of the equation into one fraction. Okay, in order to do that, in order to subtract 2 fractions, I need a what? I need a common denominator. Good. What's my common denominator going to be? Good. Everybody okay with that? Okay, so what would I multiply x by to get x times x plus 1? Good. So what do I have to multiply 4 by? Good. Okay. Good. I'd have to multiply x plus 1 by x, so I have to multiply 3 by x. So this is what we have. Okay. So all we did is we subtracted the fractions by finding a common denominator, and we wrote it as one fraction. Do I like the way the numerator looks? No, I want to distribute it out and make it look pretty, right? So we can do that real quick. 4x plus 4 plus 3x. Shouldn't be minus. Nobody caught that? I'm supposed to catch it when I do it wrong. Minus 3x. Sorry about that, guys. What, honey? Yeah. We okay so far? So all I did is distribute. Now what? Sure. Sure, cross multiply. We're going too fast? Okay, we'll slow down. The x's do cancel. Yeah, so now I have 4 equals x squared. Now what? How do I get rid of a squared? Good, square root, right? So square root of 4 equals the square root of x squared. What's the square root of x squared? What's the square root of 4? Careful. What's the square root of 4? And 2 and negative 2. All right, it's both 2 and negative 2, because what's negative 2 squared? 4. What's 2 squared? 4. So you have to have both solutions. And that's going to be a big one in this class. Every single time you take a square root, it's always plus and minus. Okay? All right, so what do you think? Was that awful? And then, of course, you would want to check your 2 answers, right? So that wasn't too bad, right? Okay, so let's try it the other method. It's in the book. In the book. In the button that looks like a book. Under tab 3. You'd have to hit the 3 to get to tab 3. 3. And it's in here somewhere. It's right there. Okay, so the other option is to multiply through by the LCD. Okay, we already know what the LCD is. You guys did a great job finding that. So here's what we're going to do. Are you ready? Okay, so we are going to multiply both sides through by the LCD. Okay, so what I mean by that is exactly what I said. Multiply both sides through by the LCD. Okay? Okay, so here's how this works. X times x plus 1 times 4 over x. Well, what happens with these x's? They cancel, so I'm left with 4 times x plus 1. Okay, the x's would cancel when I multiply this piece. Now, x times x plus 1 times negative 3 over x plus 1, what cancels? So I'm left with 3x equals, does anything cancel? X times x plus 1. Okay, so this is the other option. Okay, now what? We distribute, good. Okay. Good. Yeah, how? Yeah, x's cancel. Good. And when I take the square root, it's always? Good. There's your answer. So which way do you prefer? The top. Okay, I'm going to go with left or right.
Sorry, left.
Left. Okay, so that you like this one better. All right. How many people like this one better? You do. I like this one better as well. But either way, works. I don't care which way you choose to do it. Okay? All right, so how do you feel about that? Okay. All right. So let's talk about aerodynamics. Aerodynamics are fun. This actually does get used in the real world quite a bit, so it is applicable to your real life. The aerodynamic covering on a bicycle increases a cyclist's average speed by 10 minutes per hour. The time for a 75-mile trip is reduced by 2 hours. What is the average speed for the trip using the aerodynamic covering? Okay, so I'm going to give you the formula. We've got 75 over t minus 2 equals 75 over t plus 10. Okay, so we're going to find the speed of the aerodynamic coverings, and it's equal to the speed without the covering plus 10. Okay, so there's your equation. I want you to solve for t. So you can do it either method. I don't care which one you choose. If you want to take that right-hand side, make it into one fraction, cross-multiply, awesome. If you want to multiply through by the LCD, that's cool too. So do whatever one you want. Okay, I'm going to pause it here and give you guys some time to. Okay, so what's the denominator for the 10? 1. What's my common denominator going to be? T, if you're going to just deal with this right-hand side. We'll go over both ways, okay? So it's going to be t if we're just dealing with that right-hand side. So how do I make it a t? What do I have to multiply by? T. So what do I have to multiply 10 by? Okay. Are you okay with that? All right. So now, if you do that, it's pretty easy to put those numerators together and have it over t. Okay, but you have to do that before you cross multiply. You cannot cross multiply until you have one fraction set equal to one fraction, a proportion. Okay, now you can cross multiply. How are you going to multiply these two? What do you have to do? You have to FOIL. Okay, you have to FOIL this out. Okay. Yeah, these cancel, 75t on both sides, right? So put it in descending order just to make it easier. No. It's a quadratic, right? How do we solve quadratics? Got to factor it. So what's jumping out at you for this one? Yeah, 10 is my GCF. Ooh. He's doing it in his head. Okay, so that way was pretty long, huh? So there's another way to do it, right? So if I'm looking at the whole thing, what would the common denominator be straight across? Yeah. Okay, so that would be your common denominator all the way across. So if you're going to do it this way, you need the common denominator for the entire equation, which is t times t minus 2. And then you multiply it through. So let me rewrite it so it's there. Okay, so we're going to multiply it through. Okay, so t times t minus 2 times 75 over t minus 2. What's going to cancel? T minus 2, so I get 75t equals, all right, t times t minus 2 over 75t. T cancels out, and I have 75 times t minus 2 plus, careful, does anything cancel? No, so you have to multiply through by t minus 2. Okay. Okay. So 75t minus 150 plus 10t squared minus 20t, right? And that's just distributing. See, now we're already here, right? (10t squared minus 20t minus 150 equals 0. And we've already done this, all these same exact steps on the other equation. Right? So again, I don't care which way you guys choose to do it, whatever way is easiest for you. You're probably more comfortable with the side on the left because we learned how to add and subtract rational expressions, so you know how to put those together. All right, so if we're talking about the context of the problem, right, it wants to know how fast you're going with this covering on your bike. What makes sense? How fast you're going. What makes sense? If you're driving a car, what kind of numbers do you get on your speedometer? Positive, right? Miles per hour. This is minutes per hour, but they're positive, right? Are you ever going to go negative 20 miles per hour? You did it once. Okay. Well, on the bike, you can't. So what do we have to do? Got to have answers in context to the problem. They have to make sense. Yeah, I'm going to reject that negative 3. Because does it make sense for the speed of a bicycle? No. So my answer is just going to be the 5. Okay, so when you're doing your answers, when you're finding your answers, you better make sure that they make sense to the problem before you write it down on paper. Okay? You guys okay? Is that the last page in that one? It's not, is it? Okay, so why don't you go ahead and try the next one? Okay, what's the common denominator? 3x, yeah. So what are you going to multiply x by? And 5,000? So this becomes 15,000 over 3x plus 5,000, right? Didn't need to change the second one. Okay, now what? Do you have one fraction equal to one fraction? So what do? Yeah, and this is 20,000 equals, what is it? Thank you. Okay. Ooh, I lost 5. And we get x to be, I think it's 16 over 3. Okay, and then you'd obviously want to check that. All right, so you have homework is to finish the homework that's in your calculator. I think there's 7 problems that you'll need to do. Okay, you got a new weekly project. You'll be able to do 6 out of the 10. The other 4 you'll learn tomorrow and the next day. You have a quiz on Friday. Okay, lessons 4 through lesson 6. And then your unit test for lessons 1 through 8 will be next Friday, October 5th. Okay? All right, thanks, guys.